Hey story lovies, welcome to Black My Story Time, where every tale beats with truth, drama, and power. Let's get into it. When the Crown Falls, Episode 2, The Cruel Truth, Part 2. The thought of that woman trying on her dress sent a heat through her chest that bordered on fury. That dress wasn't just fabric. It was a symbol, a reminder of her place in this town, of her influence, her taste, her power. And now, even that was being touched, violated, by someone who didn't belong. Julia gripped her cup even tighter as she stared through the window at the boutique. She didn't know how much more she could take. She had changed so much over the years that even her true friends had drifted away. Her smug remarks, her cutting tone. At first, they brushed it off. They noticed the changes, yes, but told themselves that money changes everyone. Besides, they enjoyed the perks, the private jets, the island-hopping girls' trips, the shopping sprees in Europe and the USA, the yachts, the invitations to exclusive events reserved for the elite. Deep down, they knew she kept them around just to flaunt her wealth, for them to gawk at how lucky she was, to give them tours of her mansion on the hill, especially redesigned to her specification, her chauffeur-driven luxury cars. She loved that they envied her, and still, they stayed, until she became unbearable. One by one, they exited her life. Some had taken the opportunity to make connections, while others quietly decided that they no longer wanted to be a part of that world. Julia told herself she didn't need them anyway. The people she mingled with now were at the level she aspired to. Powerful, influential, untouchable. But they were never truly her friends. They smiled for the optics, exchanged pleasantries, and even attended her events when called upon, and that was it. She hadn't truly broken into their world. Not really. She was simply tolerated because of Marcus's connections. She knew it. But what did that matter? Alice leaned forward, her voice laced with satisfaction from watching her spiral. She wanted to trigger her more. He'll be picking her up when she's done shopping along the strip. So... She paused, studying Julia's reaction. You might see him soon. She leaned back in her chair, feigning innocence. At least, that's what I've noticed. The words hit Julia like a twist of a knife. But Alice wasn't finished. Mrs. Cooper, not to sound harsh, but he really dotes on her. I've lived here all my life, and I've seen him with women before, but never like this. He's different with her. I think he really likes her. I mean... Alice shrugged. This could be a long-term thing. Julia wanted to rip into Alice, to slice her down with the kind of venom she was known for. But the words wouldn't come. Instead, she exhaled shakily and said, her voice low and defeated, Okay, you can stop now. I get it. You wanted to see me at my worst. Well, you win. Here it is. She lowered her head, fingers trembling slightly, as she stared at the untouched coffee in front of her. The cafe buzzed softly around her, but all she could hear was the dull roar of her own thoughts. Julia Cooper, calculating, commanding Julia, was now sitting in silence, trying to figure out her next move. In 20 years of living in Lonbridge, Marcus had never paraded a woman so openly. Even now, she was only brought out for the major events, the charity galas, the town functions, where he needed to parade his perfect wife, the symbol of a loving marriage like every other powerful man did. The rest of the time, she was a name, not a presence. Sure, there had been others, affairs that came and went like passing storms. But those never mattered. They were discreet. And if one of them ever got too comfortable, Julia handled it. a warning call, a quiet visit from her men, or if she felt particularly bold, a face-to-face confrontation. Marcus never interfered. He didn't care either way. There was always another woman, drawn to his power, his money, his reputation, ready to play her part. And Julia, she was the queen of his castle, the untouchable wife, the woman who could do as she pleased because Marcus would always have her back. But now, something has shifted. She could feel it. In the stares of people on the street, in the whispers that fell silent when she entered a room. The town knew. They were waiting, watching her fall from grace. Even here in the cafe, she could feel their eyes on her. The low murmurs, the half-hidden laughter. She knew what it meant. Every whisper felt like a dagger, every glance a reminder that her reign was over. And the worst part, there was nothing she could do about it. Julia tore her eyes away from the scene across the street. She set her coffee cup down, her hands trembling just enough for the spoon to rattle against the saucer. A slow breath, another. She was fighting hard to stay composed. The last thing she wanted was to cry. Across the table, Alice watched her closely. She was literally looking at the woman who was about to be replaced, sitting here, while her successor shopped across the street at her favorite boutique with not a care in the world. She studied Julia's face, observing the flicker of pain and pride wrestling beneath the surface. Something in her began to soften. For all her arrogance and brutishness, Julia was still human, and like humans tend to do in situations like these. They break. From the looks of it, she had nowhere else to go. No friends to vent to. No one to lean on. Alice felt a twinge of sympathy. She drew in a deep breath and glanced down, unsure of what to say. The cafe hummed around them. Laughter, clinking cups, soft jazz. But between them, there was only silence. Alice had to admit. She regretted pushing Julia so hard. She'd imagined this moment so many times. The mighty Julia Cooper finally brought to her knees. But now that it was here, all she felt was pity. The satisfaction she thought she'd feel never came. Instead, there was a hollow ache in her chest. She didn't want to feel empathy for this woman. Not after everything she'd done in this town. A part of her wanted to reach across the table, to place a hand over Julia's and offer some small comfort. Let her know that it was all going to be all right. But she stopped herself. Who was she kidding? Nothing in this town would ever be the same again. She could sense it. Maybe this was her karma. Maybe life was finally giving Julia a taste of what she'd served others for so long. Alice lowered her gaze, her eyes fixed on the table, a dull ache of regret pressing at her chest. Maybe it was time to just leave her be. She drew in a quiet breath, ready to say her goodbyes, when suddenly, the sharp crash of porcelain shattered the air. The cup hit the floor, spilling its contents across the tiles in a burst of sound that tore through the cafe's gentle hum. Alice glanced up, startled. "What is it?" she asked. Julia gave no reply. She just stared across the street, eyes narrowed to slits, breath hitching in quick, uneven bursts. Alice followed her gaze, and then she saw it too. The Amari gown. The same one the manager had asked Julia to keep on display until she was ready for it. Now, the woman inside was holding it up against her body, admiring the fit in the mirror, as if she were about to try it on. Alice felt her stomach twist. She didn't know what to say. But Julia's expression said it all. The color drained from her face, her jaw tightening. This was it. The last straw. Julia's voice broke through the quiet hum of the cafe, low, trembling with fury. "That's my dress. Why are they showing her my dress? They think they can sideline me, give her my gown. They have another thing coming. She slammed her fist against the table. Every bit of composure she'd fought to keep was gone. Her fury was on full display now, no longer hidden, no longer restrained. Alice could see where this was going, and she knew it wouldn't end well. She shook her head quickly. "Don't do it, Mrs. Cooper." Just then, a young worker came by to clean up the broken cup and spilled latte, but Alice shooed him away. She didn't want anyone else listening in on their conversation, lending more fuel to an already devastating situation. Julia's breathing quickened, her chest rising and falling in short bursts. She reached into her purse, pulled out a few bills, and dropped them onto the table. Alice realized exactly what Julia was about to do: march across the street and confront the woman in the boutique. Panic shot through her. "Julia, please don't do this. Don't go over there. It's not going to end well, I promise you." Julia turned to her, eyes blazing with hatred, her jaw tight with a fury Alice had never seen before. "I have to take care of something." She pushed back her chair and started for the door, but Alice instinctively grabbed Julia's hand. Julia froze, turning to look at the hand gripping hers. Their eyes met, and Alice instantly released her hand. "Mrs. Cooper, please," Alice pleaded again. "Don't go over there." Confronting that young woman meant forcing Marcus to choose, and Alice had a sinking feeling he wouldn't choose. Julia men like Marcus Cooper controlled everything: business, politics, even the police. A man like that didn't get questioned, and a woman who had fallen out of his favor had no power left. Julia's expression hardened as she looked at Alice. Alice lifted her hands in surrender. "Look, Mrs. Cooper, I know you want to confront her, but leave this one alone. Walk away." She hesitated, then lowered her voice. "We all know how Marcus operates. Sure, we pretend not to see it, but everyone in this town knows. We've all been affected by him. Some for the better, most for the worse." Alice leaned forward, her eyes steady on Julia's. "You, of all people, know exactly what he's capable of." Julia's eyes glistened, her lips trembling. One tear slipped free. "I can't," she whispered. "I just can't." The pain evident in her eyes. Thank you for joining me, my story lovies. Remember, every voice matters, and every story has power. If you love good drama and Caribbean stories, don't just watch. Join the family. Hit subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for the next intriguing story.